Hello and welcome back to my playthrough of FTB Infinity Skyblock. This is your host Necro. Last time we acquired automated cobble generation. Boy howdy is it going. We also acquired buckets, uh, multiple sources of water and lava, and our lovely coke oven, which is now coke and creosote oil. So with our new source of cobblestone, it leaves us free to use it for all sorts of purposes. Building, uh, breaking it down into gravel and sifting, whatever we want. We want to go ahead and let's build a little bit. So fortunately, this will alleviate a lot of our really basic grind, but there'll be more than enough grind to go around. I'm thinking of turning this particular area into a sort of walled garden or courtyard. Nothing too crazy just yet. Like a nice hallway with some grass growing. I think that would look quite nice. Get some stairs. Actually, no, we don't need this guy. This will do just nicely. I also want to work on expanding the basement. So pretty soon, we're also going to need to start gathering up a lot of saplings to make dirt. From there, we can get our first crops, start growing them. I think I'm going to grow them up here. So, should be a bit more vigilant when cutting down trees. Move this dirt block over to here. I believe pattern goes something like that. Expand this out just a little bit. We're already up to 4 stacks of cobble. This little contraption truly is a godsend. Eventually, we will want to have that set up so that it automatically generates cobble, breaks it down into gravel, sand, dust, what have you, and then it sifts through it automatically. So we'll have passive resource generation, but all those machines require energy to run, and that is something we do not have. Thankfully, this little setup here requires no energy, so it's good to go for forever, as long as it has enough space. Let's continue building this guy up here. And let's set up another little contraption, actually. Let's see. Got iron there. Let's fetch some iron from in here. Iron ore. Powdered iron dust. So we're going to craft our iron, and we're going to process it. I'm going to make a device that should look rather familiar to anyone who's made any redstone and vanilla. We're going to make some hoppers to automatically process or feed in saplings or other plant material into our barrel, so we can have a bunch of dirt processing in the background. We don't have to worry about babysitting it. I suppose this is as good a time as any to talk a bit about Minecraft in game. Over the years, I've played Minecraft quite a bit. And you notice how things change over time, especially like with the community with mods. I would say a lot of mods, or like mods, big name mods, stopped updating after 1.7.10. Like, there are cases of several mods continuing after 1.7.10. There's a lot that just kind of stopped. Thaumcraft 4, that's one. Witchery, that's another. Forestry for Minecraft, although I know they were working on making some ports to more recent versions, but to 1.12 and I believe it was 1.16, and there's been some spiritual successors as well. But a lot of things just kind of stopped with 1.7.10. Not sure why. I mean, it's a fine enough version. I guess like the jump from 1.7.10 to 1.8 wasn't as exciting. They call 1.7.10 the update that changed the world for a reason. It's not only to add the biome updates, so the savanna, mesa, ice spikes, dark oak forests, it also changed the fishing minigame. Now, for those of you still new to Minecraft or only started playing it after 1.7.10, before the fishing minigame we come to know and love existed, it was a different sort of minigame where you like cast your rod into the water and you had to wait for it to just dunk underwater. There wasn't, you couldn't see the actual like fish approaching that, so you'd have to just sort of wait. I believe people used to make contraptions where they would trigger a tripwire or pressure plate on breaking that for like the fish getting to the fishing rod. I mean, and that would automatically catch the fish. You could get a whole bunch of fish by doing nothing that way. Which I think that's a healthy way to tackle that kind of glitch. Because I mean, if you're just like sitting there in vanilla doing nothing, you shouldn't be able to get just infinite resources. You should do like a little something for it. It doesn't have to be hard, but I say leave automation to the mod packs. You can make some automated things in Minecraft, like melons and pumpkins or cacti, and now bamboo are exceptionally easy to farm in vanilla, with little to no oversight on your part. You just have to have the chunks loaded. Right. Let's cut this down. Any wood left in here? Aha, there we go. But also a change I've noticed from different versions is this is kind of a turning point, 1.7.10, in terms of like tone of Minecraft updates. Oh, no, Minecraft mods, I mean. So, if you take 1.7.10 and look back, you see a lot of more intricate, more progression-focused mods. A lot of like little intricacies. Your build crafts, industrial crafts, lots of tech, like a lot of progression. And onwards, I would say from about the 1.12 era, there is a stark uptick in more vanilla plus adventure mods. Which I love vanilla plus adventure mods, don't get me wrong, but it felt like a lot of the stuff from old modern Minecraft didn't quite make it past 1.12.2. You have them like have some spiritual successors. I mean, some mods have been freaking eternal, like Botania, Blood Magic, or mods that probably be around for the rest of our natural and unnatural lives. And things just sort of changed at that point. Alright, so let's see. We're going to make our hoppers. I remember when I first learned how to use hoppers, they sort of astounded me. So they can interact with the chest's inventory. Right, 2 should do the trick. Alright, let's find a nice wall. Yeah, this is a good enough wall. Okay. I'm gonna go here. Let's get our barrel. We'll pick up this one. Put this here. Because if I put the barrel in now, it's gonna get filled up with water, and that's not what we want. Gosh darn it. Huh. Does it have to be vertical? Try that instead. And we put this in here. Yep, there we go. Put chest like so. Hopper right here. Alright. So now we will compost our dirt automatically. Also need to stock up on wood to make Agricraft crop sticks. A large portion of the grind, especially in the early game, will be devoted to breeding up Agricraft crops, but fortunately it's something that can happen in the background, so I'm not too worried about that. As opposed to like how I was sitting here having to mine cobble. Yep, dirt coming along. Okay. Let's work on the basement. Yeah, this looks like a good spot to have like an entrance down there. Okay. Go down into here. Be extra careful not to fall off here. Another item we're going to want to try to work towards eventually that will trivialize all of what I'm doing right now is the Builder's Wand. Can't make a Super Builder's Wand, but we can make a Builder's Wand out of 2 diamond blocks, 2 steel rods. So steel is a bit beyond us for the time being, and 2 diamond blocks translates to 18 diamonds, which is quite a lot more than we'd have. So we're just going to hold off on that. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. See F7. Go. Also want to look into early game power generation. So there are a few different ways you can get power in the really early game of this mod pack. There are survivalist generators and steam and hobbyist steam engines. I myself am more partial to the steam engine, but there is good stuff to be said about survivalist generator. So, in short, the give and take between the two is that the survivalist engine generates power very efficiently, generates a lot of power for a little amount of fuel. The only problem is it generates it very slowly. So you will easily outstrip your consumption of energy will easily outstrip your supply generation of it. So that's something to bear in mind. Let's do something like this. Start working on growing our crops. Let's see if we can sift some. No, that's not enough dirt in there yet. Oh yeah, we need a lot more. You know what? Time being, here will be used to also grow trees. Eventually, we'll have more effective crops to grow this stuff, but we really want trees. If we want our stuff to be composted, there is one thing we can do for the early game. We can bone meal up our trees, make them grow fast, and then shear them. Because you can compost not only the saplings, but the leaves like this. So it's a very good way to run out of materials for just shearing this stuff. And it's not particularly fun to do on those big fancy oak trees that occasionally grow. But desperate times call for desperate measures after all. Right. There's yes, the leaves' fast breaking speed compared with how plentiful they are makes them an ideal material to compost. Right, there we go. Fortunately, this mod pack adds stone shears, so we don't have to use iron every single time to hit these leaves. Cut down those trees. Slowly but surely, this island is growing. But, yeah. A lot of mods nowadays seem to be vanilla plus, focused mostly around adventuring. Lots of cool structure mods, lots of cool new biomes. Um, Alex's caves, Yang's mods. Those are some notable standouts. Which I'm really glad they exist. It just feels a little sad because things have changed. I mean, that's the nature of life. To change. Right, got more of that down there. Let's check on our charcoal. Voila. We're moving right along. So just a fair warning to my dear viewers who are unaware of how I build. I build in very labyrinthine maze-like patterns. So expect to see weird routes around the base. Things aren't laid out optimized. I probably won't use a lot of shortcuts, because I think having a nice big base that it'd take a little bit of a scenic route to get through, I think that adds character. No, a lot of my friends, whenever I play Minecraft with them, don't particularly care for that. But they're not here. We can just keep this between us. Besides, having a really maze-like level, a maze-like area, that's what a Yume Nikki is all about. Heck, half of the, I'd say a good, maybe fifth of the worlds in Yume Nikki are some kind of maze, whether stated directly or otherwise. Thinking of Intestines Maze. There's one called Flicker Maze. Yeah, there's too many to count. Yep. Got our nostalgic Minecraft music playing while we build by hand. Alright, let's go check on our trees. Yep, we got some more. Time to shear them down. Another interesting topic for discussion is Java versus Bedrock. Now, I am in the firm camp that I'm firmly in the camp that Java is the superior version of Minecraft, but I don't want to dismiss Bedrock right away. Yes, it has microtransactions. Yes, it's kind of glitchy, but I think it does some other stuff that's pretty cool. For instance, I really like how they handle tridents. It might be a bit too powerful, but it's definitely a lot better than how Java does. So, those of you who aren't aware, Bedrock has very small tweaks to a lot of its mechanics. So, for instance, the Trident enchantment Impaling deals extra damage to water mobs. So, in Java, that includes Guardians, the actual fish mobs, and dolphins. Oh, also Elder Guardians as well. But notice how half of those mobs are incredibly situational, and the other half are monsters you don't really need to kill or need Impaling to do damage to. So making it pretty rough. Like, I don't like Bane of Arthropods because it's so situational, but even that has more direct use than Java Impaling. Compare and contrast with Bedrock Impaling, where it deals damage to mobs that are wet. So they could be standing in water, could be getting rained on. It will still deal that bonus damage, which is quite a lot of damage. Like, you will one-shot most mobs, except for, like, zombies, I believe. Oh, yes, on top of that, Java Impaling doesn't even affect Drowned, the premier poster boy of underwater hostile monster. So, what's even the point of that? Okay, let's do a little bit of sieving together. See if we get anything cool. So the tables for dirt are much smaller, but you're likely to get some of these pebbles that I'm getting here. Those aren't really used for anything. You can craft them back into cobblestone. That's about it. But come on, show me the money. Wow, nothing but small stones. How tragic. Repair some of my tools. So fortunately, you can repair them in hand with the material they come from. So let's take our flints, put that there. Just stow this stuff away because I'm not going to use it right now. I'll hold on to this egg. This will probably be a bit of a slower episode, but that's fine. A bit more of a slower, more casual type of Let's Play. But I'm not opposed to making other types of content for this channel. I think I have interesting opinions or just a interesting way of putting things. So I'm considering making video essays. Probably make Let's Plays for other games as well. Beyond Minecraft. I think Minecraft is essentially the first YouTube video anyone makes nowadays, I feel. Let's see. Let's do a little dirt. I'm particularly fond of Sonic. Quite knowledgeable about those games as well. Figure out that could make good entertainment. I think Sonic the Hedgehog games, when played well, make for good sport. It's good spectator sport. So we got some sugarcane seeds. Cool. I'm not going to use those right just yet, though. All right. Let's get some more. Tell you what. We have a lot of this stone backing up. And I know we're going to need a lot more materials. So let's start working on making seared brick. So Tinker's Construct tools, you mostly use the part builder and tool station in the early game. Later on, you're able to make a smeltery out of seared brick, which is a big multi-block structure. And the smeltery allows you to double ores by melting them, so it's efficient on that. But it also lets you cast molten metal to make metal tool parts. But you have to make like casts for them. We'll get there across it. But it needs something called grout, which requires gravel, sand, clay. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut away, get a whole bunch of gravel, sand, and clay. And we can start making seared brick. While in the background, while I'm still doing that, I will be harvesting leaves, composting them. Yeah, so I'll cut back to you then. And now I'm back. While I was working, I had a wonderful idea. So to get the whey from dust, you need to put it in a barrel full of water. Problem is having to bucket over the water every single time. I realized we had enough diamonds, enough lapis, and enough emeralds. Sorry, not enough iron to make another one. Here we go. Sorry, I had to take a call, but we are going to make another world interaction upgrade and a liquid transfer node. This will allow us to take water directly from a source block, like over here, and funnel it into the barrel. Once again, for no power. Right. Have a pipe in here. I'll need an extra bucket. Oh, that's right. We have to hammer out the bucket. Silly me. Right, while that's cooking, I'll get everything else in place. Okay. Liquid transfer node. Ourselves a diamond pickaxe. Right. So this part's a little tricky. So we need to place it like so. This way, when the water flows back onto here, the liquid transfer node will go there. And just like that, we're topped up. Let's go ahead and let this cook. We'll make another bucket here in just a moment. Let's take some of our dust. Isn't this much better than having to tediously take buckets and put it over here? I can just hold down right click. This is the kind of the big loop of Skyblock. Things kind of big are kind of a pain in the butt. Till they aren't. Till you find shortcuts, way to automate things. While we're at it, we're going to check on our dirt. See how much we've accumulated. All right. Take a look-see in here. Got well over a stack. It's pretty good. Let's get another stack of clay. I need a stash. Let's get another stack and a quarter. So. For any math nerds in the audience, Minecraft's system of stacks, they are all perfect squares. So for example, things like ender pearls, snowballs, they only stack to 16, which is a perfect square, 4 times 4. And 64 itself is a perfect square of 8. So 8 times 8 is 64. Forget how big the chunks are. I think the chunks are also 16 blocks. So this is a game of squares, cubes, or squares. Right, let's get our clay. Each block of clay is going to net us 4 clay balls. When I first played Minecraft, I played on the Xbox 360 edition. One of the early recipes for bricks, or brick blocks, I mean, was shaped like TNT, where you had 4 bricks and 5 clay that you need to craft for 1 brick block. I thought that was absolutely ludicrous, which is probably why I haven't really ever leaned towards using bricks in my builds. I like using stone brick, but brick blocks never quite got there. But I definitely want to use some for the builds in this world. I want to make sure everything's nice and varied. But once again, we're still in the early game. We have bigger fish to fry. Alright, there we go. Let's get our sand and clay. Should hopefully give us quite a lot of grout to work with. So it's a few different crafting recipes you can use. I'm going to use the one that is going to take the least amount of time. So it's going to be 4 stacks of sand, 4 stacks of what was the recipe? Let's see. It used to be like that. Grout. Ah, they must have disabled it. Unfortunate. You used to be able, at least in certain mod packs, craft grout with using just a lot of sand and gravel. Use 4 stacks of sand, 4 stacks of gravel, and a stack of clay. Be a bit more efficient, but I suppose since this is an expert mode pack, I think it'd be a bit more difficult. Don't ever to fear. I am more than willing to rise to this challenge. Plus, having all this clay blocks to break through will let us get more experience on our matic right here. So we're at 75% of the way to the next level, which will earn us another modifier, which that's going to be very helpful later on. So once we get this smeltery made, I am more likely than not going to make my tools out of electrum, which is an alloy, a mixture of metals. This particular alloy from Tinkers, so it's a real life alloy, is made from gold and silver. And maybe you're veterans of Minecraft, you know, gold breaks blocks really fast. Well, electrum has the highest mining speed of any block, or any material, I mean. But it has absolutely low durability, and it's not very capable of destroying harder blocks. Which, for our purposes, that's fine. We're not taking it mining anywhere, we're just using it to make quick changes. So for our purposes, electrum is brilliant. Then there is the material of platinum, which is more like diamond. It's more like kind of like diamond in that it breaks stuff really fast, not quite as fast as gold, but it also has a lot of durability. So the reason why we want so many modifiers on these tools is to improve the durability using modifiers. Right, we're going to start cooking our grout. Start sifting our dirt. See if we get anything worthwhile. Check the we can possibly get from sifting dirt. Oh, there we go. So pumpkin seeds, rubber tree, grass, melon, spruce. See, most of our basic seeds, I don't see. Oh yeah, there's potato seeds. Yeah, all our vanilla crops, vanilla trees, and rubber trees. The big one I'm hoping to get is pumpkin seeds. Pumpkins are a very good crop for harvesting to compost. It's very easy to get a lot of them, and they compost, I believe, 8 to 1. Let's check the recipe here. Yes, so things like melons take 5, apples take 10, most meats take 5, wheat takes 13, where pumpkins only take 6. So they are the superior way to compost. So we got some melon seeds, acacia seed. I like acacia wood, but the trees are a little hard to cut down. It does have a nice orange color about it, though. Got ourselves birch. Ideally, though, we'd get our hands on some forestry trees, which a bit more productive, more interesting to play around, and they they don't have the problem of like our oak trees, and they grow a bit too big. Right. I'm not skipping through this part because it's only a small amount of dirt that we need to sift through. We got ourselves some grass seeds, rubber trees, wheat seeds. We need carrots, potatoes, pumpkins. We already have sugarcane seeds from earlier, though. There are some seeds, though, that can only be gotten from sand. Those are ancient spores, or mycelium, and exotic seed for jungle trees. I recently saw a video about jungle trees, how they have a lower chance of dropping saplings. Not sure if that's been addressed in this mod pack because it is an old version, but we'll have to see. Do a little bit of experimenting. Regardless, though, I'm pretty sure forestry for Minecraft's version of a jungle tree will fix that. So you don't know, you can take a any vanilla sapling, put it into the forestry for Minecraft's analyzer. Let's call it a treealyzer, and it will convert it into the forestry for Minecraft version of that tree. So it will look exactly the same, but it will be active for forestry for Minecraft, so to speak. So it will behave like a forestry for Minecraft tree. It can be pollinated by bees. It will fruit. All right, come on. Let's see. Potatoes. Let me condense some of this stone. There we are. That's acorn. I believe that gives us an oak sapling, which, there we go. Pumpkin seeds. Now, last I believe we need is carrots. But yeah, oak saplings aren't really in short supply, as we can see. I just had a horrific idea. What if there was a skyblock mod pack? Instead of giving you an oak tree, they gave you an acacia tree. So it's far too easy to cut it down, lose wood, potentially fall off because they do have that big sort of slant to them. And worse yet, lose the saplings. That'd be a case of hostile game design. All right, there we are. It's plenty of dirt still left. Got, oh, that's carrot seeds. Yep, we've got all our seeds that we need. I believe that means we don't need to sieve any more dirt. So that means next episode, start working on actually getting crops together through the wonderful power of Agricraft, which means our grinding woes are just beginning. Thank you for joining us this episode. We'll continue working on smelting down our grout, probably make some more slab furnaces to do so. And we'll work on getting our first crops together. Right, until next time, this has been your host, Necro. Thank you for watching.